that gives me another idea of a one shot where players own a pub and you're just ran through scenarios from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and like you try to convert that to fantasy. Anyway, welcome back to a TOL update. We're gonna be making a character today. I have my good friend. What do you want to go by?
Either the Discord name or the real name. Don't
But
care.
you say it.
No.
All right, we got Olasku. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you say it.
All right,
Hello.
we got Olasku, who is a good friend, and we've played many of tabletop RPGs together, at least for a long time. Particularly, we've played like 3 tabletop RPGs together
Yeah.
over the course of like 2, 3 years now, two,
Uh,
three, something like
Yeah, I
that.
think it's about like 2.5, 3 years, something like that.
Anyway, he is a fellow GM. He has been involved in the pre-alpha quite extensively. Whenever I ran into a mental roadblock, I was like, hey, smarty pants, get in here to help me with this stupid issue. um and we're gonna be building a character. It's just gonna be super simple. Everything you see on screen is just gonna be that pretty little campfire going, and this is gonna be a nice chill kind of walkthrough of what we have right now. And I just want to remind everyone, this is the pre-alpha test play kit, version 0.11.1, which will be announced Wednesday on the subreddit. So anyway, I guess we should just let's jump into it. So you said you had a character idea in mind.
Yeah. I have a rough idea of a character I want to make.
Okay, cool. So if we open up our handy dandy PDF document here, our sweet lines of columns of words. So we'll start off with our basic attributes. Now on screen, I will show this on the video editing process of what the pre-alpha character sheet looks like. But I'm not going to be filling it in because I am a terrible video editor. And basically, we're just going to be walking through it. So we have our primary core attributes. We got Arcana, Charisma, Constitution, Dexterity, Strength, Wisdom in alphabetical order because we're not insane. And you start off. Would you like to roll for these, or do you want to take the standard array?
I actually kind of like the standard array you have right now, so I think I kind of want to go with that.
All right. Go ahead and implement 15, 14, 12, 12, 10, 8, wherever you would like, and let us know kind of what stats are you going to be focusing on here.
Sure. I think the best way to explain it to people who are from the TTRPG communities or even just RPGs would be I'm kind of looking for a nature monk, like a kind of an elf. So I think I'm gonna really prioritize dexterity and wisdom going
Okay.
in.
So like an elf that's really he's a holistic elf that also respects nature because of his upbringing and everything like that.
Yeah,
Okay, sweet. So
yeah,
you're
kind of
probably
balancing two worlds.
sweet. Okay, we can make that work. So I'm assuming dexterity and wisdom are going to be your top two, and then what do you think? Like charisma or arcana going to be your dump stat?
I think charisma is gonna be my dump stat.
Okay.
Uh, Trying to balance holy things and natural things. Probably his social skills are probably gonna be his not so focused on
I was gonna
practice.
say, when I think of monks, I don't really think of the most sociable people. Like they're friendly people, from like videos and stuff that you see. They're friendly and wholesome. But like in terms of social skills and like outgoing party goers, like compared to the bard anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let me know when you have that all assigned.
Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 15 into wisdom,
Okay.
14 into dexterity.
Okay.
I'll drop the two 12s into constitution and arcana.
Okay. Just get a little bit of that tankiness and a little bit of that arcane lore up.
Yep. And then put that 10 into strength and the 8 into charisma.
Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and jump into skills.
Yeah.
So skills going through, we have 13 skills. I'm not going to list every single skill and what their modifier is, but it covers a wide variety of stuff. So with your character, what kind of skills you think you're going to be leaning towards? And then we'll jump back to this later when we get to the occupation and the uh and the race and everything like that. But what are you kind of feeling towards the skills right now?
Probably something natural, something kind of like healing, nature, survival based, as well as also like history, lore, maybe like remembering some stories from his past.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. All right. So now that we've kind of decided what our characters kind of like, we'll come back to the skills in a later section. Um, we're gonna look at your character race. You said elf previously. You still stick with elf, or did you want to go like more half elf, or kind of what are you feeling in that scenario?
Uh, I'm thinking elf, just bread and butter fantasy race.
Perfect. That's personally, I think the generic fantasy characters flourish the most, um, because they don't rely on like a weird crutch about their like background. You know, there's just
Mhm.
like it forces the character to come up with a unique backstory and interesting things. And
Yeah.
that kind of leads me to my next question. How old is your elf? Is he over 800 or is he more of an elder, an adult? You know, kind of where along that line is he?
Um, I think he's a young adult, maybe even just a, a middle adult, not yet an elder. Um, and I think this would be like a coming of age story for him of trying to figure out who he is so he can become the next elder. And potentially, maybe his master is on the brink of not committing his goals, and so
Mm.
there's kind of a time limit on this.
So that I am gonna do a little bit of a spoiler here for the canon world lore that we're building for Tree of Life. Elves are immortal beings, similar to the Tolkien universe. However, there is a stark difference, kind of. Well, stark similarity, I should say. As they age, elves are kind of aligned to a specific goal in mind, right? They have a broad scope of an ideal that they want to resolve in their lifetime. They can still be killed. They just are immune to the effects of time. However, after the age of 800, the elves turn into what the world is called the Alfiri, which is an elf that is teetering on the edge of madness, someone who hasn't completed their life's mission yet, and is really just will start going to extreme lengths of trying to complete this goal, or perhaps some other outsider has influenced them in some way. Otherwise, most elves, when they've successfully finished their mission, that what they'll do is they go into a ritual sleep, and their soul leaves their body and goes to their goddess to live a second afterlife, which is a weird. I it's a weird contrast. It's similar to like the Undying Lands in Lord of the Rings, but it's something peaceful about it. You know, like you get that closure. They're like, "Yep, I'm done. I'm going to bed, and see you when you get here." And I haven't decided if they're into ritual cannibalism or not, but that's
Ooh.
mostly an inspiration from Divinity Original Sin. Okay, okay. So you're thinking elf, so that means you get +2 to any one attribute that you'd like. So I'm assuming this can be dexterity, or is that can be wisdom?
It's gonna be 2 to dexterity,
Okay, brings you up
and
to 16.
yep, and then the +1 to wisdom with the elf to get my wisdom to 16 as well.
Nice. So you got two solid 16, which is +3 to each. You do gain natural resistance to nature damage, which means
Mhm.
you take less damage from nature damage. I haven't fully decided how I want to implement resistances. I kind of like the idea of damage reduction, but then that also throws into the mix a lot of like, well, now I have to float all these numbers in my head. So like I get hit with nature damage. Now do I -5, or would I rather just have it and just have it plain? But that's another future discussion for a later time.
Sure.
You get to become knowledgeable in one skill. So you get a +2 to any one skill that you desire. Do you know what skill you're going to take?
I think the skill that I'm gonna take for the +2 there is healing.
Healing. Okay. And I will remind you, you do get a journeyman skill because of your occupation. So remember that you do get a +4 to one of your skills.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then you can also choose another skill to become knowledgeable in. That includes guile, healing, lore, and song and stories. Or song and stories, I should say.
Uh, let's go with song and stories. I feel
Okay.
like that would be an important part for him.
And it does counteract your negative charisma modifier. So that way he has songs and stories from his youth.
Yeah.
Okay, so that leads us to our next part. And I did mention this a little bit, your occupation. So far there are two fully fledged occupations that are based on the TOL world's lore. And there's one that's just custom occupation. I assume you're gonna take custom occupation right now, because the other one is just Iron Oath Adventure, which is more of a strength based.
Yeah, I was leaning towards the custom one for right now.
Perfect. All right, so let's jump into custom occupation. It requires at least 12 in either Arcana, Dex, or Strength, which you do meet that requirement. So you gain Journeyman in one skill of your choice and Knowledgeable in one skill of your choice based on your occupation.
I think I'm going to take. Let's see. I'll get the skill tree all over again. I think I'm going to take knowledgeable in lore,
Okay.
and then I'll take the journeyman in intuition.
Okay. Sweet. So you got a high intuition, and that means you're really gonna be intuitive of a person. You're gonna be able to read people like a book.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now I assume you're gonna go with the dex-based starting equipment. So you're gonna take a leather hood, the strapped leather armor, and the dark leather boots. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Perfect. Also, I'm sorry. You said negative to charisma. Okay.
Yeah.
For your weapons, I kind of know what you're going to pick, or like how you're going to lean your character, right? And your weapon isn't technically in this list, but as your GM, I will allow you to start with the cestus as one of your items, and then you can start with something else from the list as well.
Sure. The cestus. I think I would want to go with. I mean, the quarterstaff is always just bread and butter for monks. Um, mm, yeah, we'll just go with what feels comfortable for him. I think he would expect a quarterstaff and use it as a walking stick.
I was gonna say, you know what? It's a good adventuring companion. You know,
Yeah.
you got hills, you got things you want to poke. Quarterstaff.
Yeah. Gives you
So
just enough reach to not be there.
exactly, if you just need to like whack someone or poke someone from a distance, you got that too. So in addition to that, because of your custom occupation, can I ask what was your character's occupation? Have you thought that far ahead?
He definitely would have been kind of a monastery kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Background.
Okay,
Uh,
so like an acolyte of sorts.
yeah, he would have grown up and learned the ways from the previous elders, and now he's trying to find a way to still make them work in these trying times.
Awesome, awesome. So with your occupation, we could say acolyte, we could say monastery adept. Whatever you want to fill in there, because you chose custom occupation. You can even write monastery janitor if you wanted to do that.
Oh, I could be a janitor. That'd be fun.
he just naturally picked it up from the side. He's like socially awkward, but he like overheard everyone and all the teachings. It was just
He was
naturally
the kind
good
of
at it.
guy who, like, after cleaning the courtyard, started to try and like mimic them, but never really got like full training.
He's in the back of the monastery doing Karate Kid while doing these chores. He's like sanding with. Okay.
Ugh.
Maybe his twin brother.
Yeah, that's Junior. That's Junior.
Junior, got it. He's just gonna go all the way down the Marshall tree. Okay. So you also get a light healing potion, 10
Yes.
rations, some camping supplies, some torches, and you get 15 gold pieces to start your journey off.
All right.
You are first level, so you'll have 0 experience points starting off from the beginning, and
Perfect.
which means we're also doing the standard integration, which means you start with 3 tree points. So those of you who are new to TOL or this is your first time hearing about it, this is a game that takes character customization to the moon. That's our goal anyway. We want players to feel really invested in their characters and also enjoy making new characters. So when they inevitably die to your vicious DM, you can just make a new one and have fun doing it. But as level 1 on a standard variation, which means you're starting with 3 tree points that you can assign however you would like, and you will have 2 uses of your tier 1 powers starting at first level. So which abilities are you going to take here?
Sure. So I think I'm gonna take the ability score increase in the holy tree for the +1 dexterity.
Okay. So it brings you up to a 17 dexterity.
Yep, kind of get that on the verge of maybe crossing over later on.
Mhm.
Uh, and then I think I'm gonna drop 1 point into righteous fury,
Okay.
and then I think I'm gonna put my other point on pressure point.
Awesome. So I'm gonna go, or you can go into detail actually. What exactly does Righteous Fury do when you activate it? This is one of your tier 1 activatables, but and then we'll also include the rounds per wisdom modifier that I haven't actually written in yet.
Sure. So it's gonna cost me 2 action points to activate this the first time, and I will ignite my weapon, either these hands being my Sessus or the
Catch these
quarterstaff,
hands.
in a holy flame, which it can even apply to ranged weapons, but we're more about getting in there and smacking people around. And then I can make a basic attack against an enemy while I activate this on the first time. On hit, they're going to take an additional 1d6 holy damage plus whatever my weapon is.
Nice. Okay. So I think cestuses are naturally 1d6 plus strength or dex. They're one of those variant weapons. They fall in between martial and discipline.
And then pressure point, it also costs 2, and it would allow me to be able to make unarmed melee basic attacks
Some Bailey
using my
Masics.
using my dex mod instead of my strength to do on hit and damage. Um, but that one's less so that I really am in it now. It's really those upgrades that are down the line that I'm really interested in with it.
Yeah. So are you said you're gonna upgrade. Well, before you said you wanted to upgrade pressure point, right? Because it comes with 2 upgrades that you can spend a tree point each on. To at level 2. So go ahead and go into the upgrades that you were talking about as well.
Sure. One of them is just a little damage upgrade to kind of bump it up a little bit. Uh, just to make it to where I can add another d6 whenever I use pressure points, just onto my hits with it, which is really nice. But honestly, the other one that I'm really excited for is the numbing pain. And that one, whenever you land an attack with pressure points, I can drop an action point from my enemy. So they get to I get to control the battlefield a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, really mess up that turn economy, right?
Hmm.
So you're fighting goblins, and then obviously like a goblin rampager comes out, and you're just like, oh no, I know that's a big boy, and he's gonna do a lot of damage. So let's try to mitigate his 2 attacks per round down to 1 attack, so he has to spend his action points differently. Really make the DM think on his toes with the monster strategy. I like that. I like that. So you have a cool path going forward. Obviously, we can't get too into detail about where your level 3 and your level 4 and 5 will go, because the holy tree is currently in development and underneath some tight wraps right now. It's
Yeah.
a little secret. But obviously, when you get to like 3rd level, then you can start using 2 T1 actions, a T2 action, and eventually a T3 action, if you had that ability. But I think with going the upgrade route, you're more focused on the now rather than you are like trying to prepare like down the road, right? So this character is like, hey, I want to be good. I want to be good now. I want to continue to be good now, and just like be strong in the moment, which I really like. I really like that a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I played as well. I do like the long game plannings sessions as well, where it's like, well, I could take this T8 ability, but I won't be able to use it until level 10. However, as soon as I hit level 10, I'm gonna pop off,
Yeah.
or
On one
level
hand,
11.
that'd be really cool to have that, but we have to get there first. And
Yeah,
if this is anything like how most TTRPGs go, or just how some veteran GMs have run it, um, yeah, I have some planning ahead. That's why I took the two different skills so I could kind of branch off later on.
yeah,
But
absolutely, yeah.
we need to survive until then, so I figured doubling down on what we started with is a good way to really get the most mileage out of him.
And the best part too, like, say you made this character. I mean, there's no other players currently making characters, but if you were in a party and you made this character at level 2, you could even take a dip into healing chant if your party was a little healing light, right?
Yeah.
And that will scale with your wisdom as well. Like, you'd be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna take that. Or you can go up towards meditate, and then say we need more of a support focus. We can jump over to the arcane tree through that branching root, as I like to call them. I like to call all the lines roots because it's a tree.
Yeah. That's
You can
cute.
take
I like that.
yeah, pretty much. You can take that branching root over to entangle to kind of give you more crowd control. Um, and then you can kind of go down that route too of like, hey, I kind of want to, you know, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. We made a whole character. It's only 22 minutes, and that includes a cold open and some random banter about lore that people probably don't care about if you're a home brewer like myself. So I think that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say, one quick thing really that we should add on to. With the equipment you chose a leather hood. You chose strapped leather for your armor, which includes your chest and legs, and then you chose a dark leather boots. Let me pull up the equipment really quickly, because one thing I do kind of want to talk about, that this has an advantage over like more character customization, right? Because you have all these parts. I do want to throw out there, I don't like attunement as a system. I don't like it. I think
It just feels a little clunky for me.
I feel like people should just have magical items if they earned it, you know? I don't think you should be restricted, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I
But
really
that,
like just
you know,
picking up and dropping things and not needing to think, oh,
mhm.
well, this is going to cost me an attunement slot, so what am I going to drop for this? It's rather just, this is my reward. I want to use my reward.
And you know what, too? What if you had like a special ring that wasn't useful except for a singular purpose? It's like, I have this ring that emits light, but like, I've been venturing in the woods, or like I just found a cave, but I don't want to swap out my other stuff. It's fine.
Yeah,
Just
let
throw it
me
on.
drop my defensive cloak so I can have a light on, or I could just have them both.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely throwing shade. I mean, not throwing shade. We're very serious people. Uh, so
Love you.
so your final dexterity score comes out to a 16 or 17, correct?
Yes.
So you get a +3, and then your constitution was a 12, so you get a +1.
Hmm.
Okay, so your base armor value would be 4. With the leather hood, the strapped leather, and the dark leather boots, that brings you up to a 8. You have an armor value of 8.
Yes.
Um, that is a system that may change. I want to. It's a little low, especially if we're using the D20 system, which we are, which means a monster with a +2 attack is hardly ever going to miss. They have to roll a 6 or higher to hit you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be changing that a little bit with the current setup. But I need to take into account the heavier armors and stuff. But that's a whole discussion for another time. And more information will be coming down the line of stuff coming out. New updates every Wednesday. I update the subreddit with a basically patch notes like a video game. I release patch notes of things I've changed, things I've added, things that people might care about. And then also social media, of course, I update frequently. Not as much as I should, but that should be changing soon, hopefully. There's just a lot going on. But anyway, yeah, is there anything else you would like to add? I know that was a little bit of a side tangent, but that's kind of how I roll.
Um, Honestly, the system that you've come up with so far, I know you're still fine tuning it. It just feels so fluid to both design characters, design monsters, and there's just a lot of potential with this to go the distance, I feel like.
Look, you don't have
And
to suck up to me, okay? You can be ruthlessly cruel on these.
okay, so to be ruthlessly cruel, I think that there's too much customization and it might be a little overwhelming sometime if you ever have seen the full scale of the tree. Um, but honestly, though, I do think that this is a really fun system, and I think that this is going to be real interesting to see how you flesh this out more because I just want to keep designing characters.
Good. Which means you also want to keep designing monsters because they
Yes.
use the same. They use the same. Essential. Well, not exactly the same, but they use the same tree for the most part, the same scaling, which hopefully leads to better balance than, um, just
Just
like
giving them like
other
a
systems.
score rating or something.
Yeah, just being like, hey, this is a 20, I guess. This is like, okay, well, I actually did the math. This is a level 24 lich, so good luck.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, is there any social medias, anything you're working on that you want to shout out for this, or are you just chilling? You're
Uh,
just
Honestly, I'm just chilling for now. I'm just really glad to be a part of this and be on the team.
Well, I will say, Olasku here is on the team, as he just mentioned. He is working on an adventure module that we are going to be publishing with the release of the game. So, not this fall when beta comes out, but when the actual game releases, we plan on having 2 to 3 adventure modules that are just ready for DMs or GMs to just pick up and start running with our players. So, if you like this type of content, let me know. If you don't, that's also fine. You can leave. We are going, we're going to be kind of going more towards this video format and this long term format because it's something I enjoy, it's something I can put on in the background and listen to. And I like these kind of development logs and just kind of natural progression of how things work. And so yeah, more updates on the Reddit, reddit.com/r/TOLTTRPG. You can find us pretty much everywhere with TOLTTRPG, and by everywhere I mean Instagram and Twitter. I haven't set up a Facebook because I hate Facebook with a burning passion, but if you guys want it, I'll do it. And yeah, stay tuned. Every Wednesday we release updates, and sporadically throughout the week we also post fun stuff. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all next time.
Bye bye.